In the ongoing battle between propaganda and reality, the White House's portrayal of the economy as thriving and robust contrasts starkly with the lived experiences of countless Americans. Despite the administration's claims of record low unemployment rates and impressive job creation figures, the economic landscape remains fraught with challenges for many individuals and families. Inflationary pressures relentlessly erode purchasing power, causing a noticeable strain on household budgets, while the persistent elevation of gas prices further burdens consumers. Moreover, the looming specter of recession amplifies anxieties, casting doubts on the sustainability of current economic policies. This glaring disparity between official narratives and the harsh economic truths faced by ordinary citizens prompts critical inquiries into the government's motivations and the actual ramifications of its decisions. The divergence between White House messaging and economic realities raises probing questions regarding the deliberate obfuscation of inconvenient truths and the potential ramifications thereof. As policymakers continue to tout optimistic statistics and paint an idealized vision of national prosperity, a growing segment of the population grapples with the tangible repercussions of financial strain. Skepticism mounts regarding the authenticity of government communications, with concerns over transparency and accountability at the forefront. By confronting the dissonance between rhetoric and actuality, society can initiate a more nuanced dialogue surrounding economic policy formulation and implementation. Understanding the true impact of governmental actions on individuals' livelihoods is essential for fostering informed decision-making and cultivating a more equitable and sustainable economic future. Robert Shiller, a Nobel Prize-winning economist, expounds upon the profound impact of economic narratives in his seminal work, Narrative Economics. Contrary to conventional economic models, Shiller argues that narratives possess a contagious quality akin to viruses, capable of spreading rapidly and exerting substantial influence on economic behavior. This assertion underscores the significance of narratives in shaping collective perceptions and actions, often overshadowing the predictive power of sophisticated economic models. Shiller's analysis delves into historical examples, notably highlighting the contrasting narratives surrounding the Great Depression. He elucidates how the prevailing narrative of austerity during the early stages of the Depression exacerbated the economic downturn. Individuals, influenced by this narrative, curtailed spending despite possessing financial means, inadvertently deepening the crisis. In stark contrast, Franklin D. Roosevelt's narrative of optimism and proactive government intervention served as a catalyst for economic recovery, demonstrating the tangible impact of narrative framing on economic outcomes. Today, the White House's efforts to mold and control the narrative surrounding the current economy reflect the enduring relevance of Shiller's insights. Despite mounting evidence of economic challenges faced by ordinary Americans, the administration persistently emphasizes positive indicators, downplaying or outright ignoring harsh realities. This strategic manipulation of narrative serves to shape public perceptions, fostering an illusion of stability and prosperity while sidestepping uncomfortable truths. By crafting a selective narrative, policymakers seek to maintain confidence in their economic stewardship and mitigate potential dissent or opposition. However, the widening chasm between the official narrative and lived experiences underscores the inherent tension between perception and reality, raising concerns about the sustainability of such narrative-driven approaches to economic governance. The inflationary pressures plaguing the economy existed well before the eruption of the Ukraine conflict, contrary to the White House's attempts to attribute the surge solely to external factors. Analyzing inflation data reveals a sustained upward trajectory preceding geopolitical tensions, underscoring the administration's initial mischaracterization of inflation as transitory. This belated acknowledgement of the issue undermines public trust and underscores the disconnect between official rhetoric and economic realities, fueling skepticism about the government's ability to effectively manage economic challenges. Furthermore, the Biden administration's energy policies have inadvertently exacerbated the economic strain on American households. The cancellation of projects like the Keystone XL pipeline and restrictions on energy leases have contributed to a self-inflicted rise in energy prices, reminiscent of the 1973 oil crisis. This policy-induced escalation underscores the adverse consequences of prioritizing ideological agendas over pragmatic economic considerations. The glaring hypocrisy of beseeching foreign autocrats for oil while stifling domestic production highlights the incongruence within the administration's approach. Exposing these contradictions not only reveals the flawed ideology guiding economic decision-making but also underscores the urgent need for a more coherent and pragmatic energy policy framework. As inflation continues to gnaw away at purchasing power, the everyday realities for Americans grow increasingly grim. Tangible examples highlight the erosion of real wages, rendering essential goods and services less affordable. This inflationary squeeze not only diminishes the standard of living but also forces households to allocate more of their budgets towards necessities, leaving less room for discretionary spending. The widening gap between stagnant wages and rising costs underscores the profound economic strain felt by ordinary citizens, revealing the inadequacy of official assurances regarding the transient nature of inflation. Moreover, the purportedly low unemployment rates touted by the government paint an incomplete picture of economic well-being. Delving beyond headline figures reveals a more nuanced reality characterized by declining labor force participation rates and a prevalence of part-time employment. These factors obscure the true extent of underemployment and the persistent struggle faced by many workers to secure stable, full-time employment opportunities. As signs of economic fragility accumulate, from market volatility to declining consumer confidence, concerns mount regarding the looming specter of recession. The Federal Reserve's aggressive tightening cycle further underscores the precariousness of the current economic landscape, prompting apprehension about the resilience of the economy in the face of impending challenges. The politicization of economic policies poses significant dangers to both short-term stability and long-term prosperity. By prioritizing green energy initiatives over pragmatic economic considerations, the government risks neglecting the tangible consequences of its actions. Despite noble intentions, the relentless pursuit of unrealistic climate goals may come at the expense of economic viability, as evidenced by the inflated costs and inefficiencies associated with green energy projects. This disregard for practicality not only strains the economy but also undermines the credibility of environmental initiatives, fueling skepticism about the feasibility of transitioning to sustainable energy sources without imposing undue burdens on businesses and consumers. Compounding these challenges is the Federal Reserve's delicate balancing act in combating inflation exacerbated by government policies. Forced into aggressive interest rate hikes to rein in spiraling prices, the Fed faces the unenviable task of mitigating inflationary pressures without triggering a policy-induced recession. The inherent dilemma underscores the interplay between fiscal and monetary policies, highlighting the interconnectedness of government actions and their economic repercussions. Moreover, the specter of runaway inflation, fueled by irresponsible spending, looms large on the horizon, threatening to erode trust in the US dollar and jeopardize its status as the global reserve currency. Such a scenario could have far-reaching implications, undermining confidence in the stability of the financial system and precipitating a broader crisis with profound socio-economic ramifications. The chasm between the economic narratives propagated by the White House and the lived experiences of ordinary Americans has become increasingly pronounced. While economic narratives wield considerable influence as tools of persuasion, they ultimately cannot mask harsh realities indefinitely. The persistence in overlooking inconvenient economic truths in favor of crafting a desired narrative not only undermines public trust but also threatens to inflict lasting damage on the nation's economic stability. It is imperative for policymakers to confront and address the genuine challenges facing the economy, rather than relying on rhetoric to shape perceptions. Failure to do so would not only be a disservice to the nation but could also lead to devastating long-term consequences for both the economy and society as a whole. It's crucial for viewers to empower themselves by seeking out diverse and credible economic analysis beyond government pronouncements. In a world inundated with information, it's essential to critically evaluate sources and perspectives to gain a comprehensive understanding of economic realities. By educating themselves on economic issues from multiple viewpoints, individuals can make more informed decisions about their finances and livelihoods. Moreover, holding elected officials accountable for policies that directly impact their well-being is paramount. By actively engaging in the democratic process and demanding transparency and accountability from policymakers, citizens can help ensure that economic policies are aligned with the best interests of the people they serve. In this way, individuals can play an active role in shaping a more equitable and prosperous future for themselves and their communities.